Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Mic check. Mic check. How's everybody doing out there? Yeah, wanted to do kind of a quick one here. I was gonna upload this on StreamYards, but I'm like, well, why not go ahead and talk a little bit here? Just wanted to touch base. I had multiple people email me while I wasn't on 60 frames no lag last night. The truth is that I fell asleep right at like 7:45, and I woke up. It was after 11 o'clock, so I just went ahead and went to bed. I did listen to a lot of the podcasts just off and on today as the day went. Most of it at lunch, things like that. So yeah, good, another solid podcast. Shout out to everybody that was there. Shout out to the chat, and make sure you go over there if you didn't listen to it, and give it a listen, give it a like, and share it. So yeah, it was entertaining. Yeah, I listened to some of it at work, not all of it, but about 40 minutes of it. You know, you take a little break at work, and you take a break at work, and then you take like a lunch. So about 40 minutes. I was like, all right, they had a pretty good show. So yeah, Nova Red is in the house, and it is late. Isn't it like 2 o'clock in the morning in France? Nova Red, what are you? Well, if this is Mrs. Nova Red, what are you doing up, young lady? How are you doing though? Shout out to everybody listening over in France. Hopefully, Nova Red has told one or two people about the podcast, and they may tune in. Who knows? We may have a big French show one day. Call it the French fry show. What's going on? But all right, so yeah, I mean the big topic, I guess, yesterday. Multiple things. Spider-Man spoilers. There are shout out to Porter Rock for showing everybody how to use your filters on Twitter. If you want to know why I haven't been on Twitter a whole bunch, remember I told you I was not going to go on Twitter a ton. If I guess you know, if you all want me to talk about the Forza stuff, I will, or we can wait till Friday evening, because I'm gonna do Forza. I'm gonna do the UFO UAP show. I keep threatening people with that show, but I'm finally going to do it. I did not realize, because I tried to come online years ago. If you're one of my first 25 followers, I would have shows on UFOs and stuff like that. And you know, that's what I wanted to do when I came online, and talk a little bit about electronics. My goal was to get 50 subs, 25 to talk about electronics with, 25 to talk about the whole UFO thing with. I stuck with the whole electronic thing. So that's what kind of led me down here. Now there are people that I used to watch that you know, that did movies, did movie podcasting and stuff like that. They're talking about UAPs. And I'm talking about guys like John Roca, who I left a link in the description when you leave to go check out his Ahsoka. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. Ahsoka Tan, the Star Wars show that just ended yesterday. It was fan-friggin-tastic. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you all want to talk about that or listen to what that was about, his show is actually going to be one of the better shows. So, but just a fantastic show last night. Dave Filoni with the writing, Rick, I don't know how to say his last name, Fukuyama or something like that. Young brother, very sharp director. They knocked it out of the park with that episode. So this great show. I'm looking forward to Star Wars Acolyte and now High Republic. I'm looking forward to that now. So if you play Star Wars Survivor, Jedi Survivor, they mentioned the High Republic a whole lot. So, but then they're gonna have a show on. But anyway, getting back to this, that's why I wasn't on 60 frames no lag. Okay, I wasn't disinvited or anything. I literally just fell asleep. So, But it's looking more like if you want to go ahead on what Digital Foundry said about Forza, you can go by that. I mean, I haven't, people have emailed me stuff on it. I've not even been able to read it because I've been catching up on stuff. So I got home, got my hair cut, went to Subway, ate fresh, shout out to Subway. And now I'm watching really nothing. I guess I'll be able to watch hey, Magnum PI comes back on tonight. I think. So well, again, Forza is not a bad game. Forza Motorsports isn't a bad game. It's just people compare it to Gran Turismo. They should compare Forza 8 to Forza 7. Okay, that's the first thing you should compare it with. But I've always compared Forza to Project Cars. I don't know if you all played Project Cars, but that's where I think Forza lines up. Now, shout out to J-Dub because he actually does race. You know, he has a racing chassis and all that. He's going to be a much better authority on that than me. And so will Lincoln Clay. When those two guys do their reviews, if you're interested in that game, make sure you listen to them. So, because they are going to have a much more authoritative look at it than I could. So, if it was a jet simulator game, I could do it, but because I play those games. But yeah, if you don't know, I think J-Dub is sponsoring Lincoln Clay on the circuit, so to speak, and they've invested in a team. And so y'all make sure that you check out when Lincoln Clay, shout out to Lincoln Clay, when he does his plays, make sure you all go over there and leave a like and, leave a like and some comments for my man Lincoln Clay. Big link. So, yeah. So, and somebody says, Forza Motor 6 being was the best of 5. Well, that's fine. Yeah. And all I'm saying is that people who have played it, when they get their hands on it, I would compare it to Final Fantasy. My God. I would compare it to Forza 7, but that's me. That's what I would do. This common sense, I think. So, but yeah, but moving on. So I'll talk about The Last of Us Part 2 here and why I do not care about it. Let me turn on the ceiling fan first. All righty. So hopefully we're sounding crispy, as Porter Rock says. Here, let me turn that down. Turn that right to there. Okay. All right. So hopefully everything is sounding good. Let me push this up a little higher there. So what you say? Are you gonna watch Fastlane 2023? Okay. Well, I don't know what that is, but have a good time. I hope it's good. So PC, shout out to Sergeant 12 being a member. Get my members their shout out here. Alfonso Carter in the house. Shout out to Alfonso in the house. All right then. And so remember this, if you don't mind, leave a like and a share. If you want to share a membership with somebody or gift the membership, the way that works is you get gifted, you get a free membership for 30 days, FREE free. Then at the end of the 30 days or 25 days, it'll ask you to renew or say kick some rocks, and that either way works. I just want to let you know that if you did get gifted a membership, you don't get charged for it. So that's the way that works. So, but so again, Naughty Dog's game, The Last of Us, a very popular game, so popular they made a TV show. The TV show was extremely successful. They are going to do a part 2. The writer strike is over, so they've already allegedly written the first 4 episodes. The first 2 were already done before the strike. So for remember, season 2 and 3 is going to be about the video game number 2. So you go figure that out. We all know how it's either going to end in season 2 or how it's going to, how it'll end or it'll start like that. I don't know what it's going to do. We're going to find out. So, but I'm excited. Before I talk about let's talk about it a little bit here. I don't care that the game is on ice. I actually started to laugh out loud when I saw those articles popping up. I said, well, that if it's true, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, and that's why we haven't heard a whole lot about it. And then I heard that corny MFer talking about it today. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. He was upset, and that made me even. I got a little chub because he was upset, and I'm like, yeah, it needs to it needs to not come out because one, what are you doing on that? And I want to make clear, I never played the game, so I'm not going to criticize the game. I'm just saying, what does that game offer you that you've never done before? Except say, well, it's The Last of Us. And remember, it was just added on. It wasn't like they put a ton of stuff on it. It was just added on. And again, I'm not knocking the game. I never played the game. I'm not here to say the game is good or bad. Just what exactly could be different about playing online? And I went to the Naughty Dog website to look at gameplay. I'm like, well, this looks just like stuff we did back in 1996, 97 with Ghost Recon, when everybody was just running around with a gun and we were shooting. And it was fun for me in 1996. But it was 1996. This is some of the first time we were playing online. And you ran around so you literally said your job is to have this little bitty gun and be like, oh, if somebody gets shot, you go heal them. So I'm trying to get why this was such a big deal. But I don't give a rat's ass about it. Not because I'm here to say that the game is bad, but it just doesn't matter to me because I never played it before. And people wanted my opinion. I'm like, all I can tell you is I never played it. So, and I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that something's good or something's bad or it's mediocre if I didn't play it. That's not who I am. You guys, there's plenty of people out online that are on podcasts, that have blogs, that, whatever, they do uploads, that have never done something, but they swear to God, they're what they're saying is the truth. So, as far as the contractors, let me address that. They're contractors. And I was give you a perfect example. In the medical field, we have travelers. These are contractors, okay? Travelers will get contracts for 90 days. And at the end of the 90 days, it's not the end of the 90 days, at the 70th day, I'm sorry, at the 60th day, the 60 day, that traveler, because they have 1 month left, is told either we're gonna, if you wanna re-sign, if you wanna re-up, so to speak, extend your contract, we will extend your contract for another 90 days. That's what happens in the medical field. And it sounds like that's what happens here. I'm not a developer, so they may do it differently, but that's how we do contracts in the medical field. So this whole thing of these independent Q&A contractors being laid off, they're the first group to get laid off. Okay? Right? Last hired, first fired. That's what that's called. Now, I'm not celebrating people losing their jobs. So, but it's highly unlikely that they walked in and said, and they didn't know about it. It was pretty much, they knew, hey, look, if this project that they're here for, they're not gonna work on it right now. We'll have to bid you farewell, and maybe bring them back when they get the project going. So, but I'm not celebrating people losing anything. I'm simply saying that if you are on contract, this already. This is part of the deal. I mean, I know some travelers now that that's why during the pandemic, they had traveling nurses. I mean, they were making over, $2,000 to $3,000 a week. That was their contract. Now the pandemic is over. So guess what? All those contracted nurses, they either got full-time jobs. Like a friend of mine, she got a full-time job in New York at the hospital up there, one of the hospitals. So, but it's not as much as she was making as a traveler because as a contractor, they don't pay you benefits. Like they don't pay medical and dental and stuff like that. They may give you a little something like, like you get something like Aflac, which is a kind of an extension. You could get your own private insurance and things like that. But that's what I can really say about this. I'm not trying to, spite my nose to, whatever that saying is, spite my nose here, but I don't give a rat's ass about multiplayer games. I think Sony deserves the opportunity for 1 year. Now, if it's true, if the articles that are coming out are saying that their studios are having issues pivoting, then maybe it was a mistake. That's all I can really say about it right now. That's the early information that's coming back, right? Is that maybe they made a mistake doing a hard pivot. I've always thought they should have done maybe 5 games, 3 of those games being from other studios, and then have 2 studios do your own. I mean, they could do. I don't know if y'all remember a video game back in the day called Mag. They could do Mag. That was like 40 against 40. That was a PlayStation exclusive title. They could do that, and then maybe bring back one of the Killzones or Killzone 3 or whatever, and have your own multiplayer type of game at that point. I know Twisted Metal that's being made, that is going to be an online game that's coming. So, and yeah, shout out to Hip Hop Gamer, and he was saying how they're bringing back SOCOM and all that stuff. So I think that's stuff that is coming, but maybe it was too hard of a pivot. I'm saying maybe it was too hard of a pivot. So what we're gonna, but we'll find out more next year. We will find out the bulk of it when Jim Ryan leaves. And again, Jim Ryan's not leaving till March 31st. That full RDNA, yeah. Well, I think Insomniac Games has done a really good job with Spider-Man as far as what they have disclosed. Now, I've been spoiling Spider-Man myself. I told people that Peter Parker's going to be swinging, building to building. That's a spoiler. Miles Morales is going to have on a Spider-Man outfit. That's a spoiler. Forgot what, Venom is an alien. If that's a spoiler. I don't know who doesn't know that Venom is not an alien. So it sounds canceled. Oh, okay. Well, that's, again, I'm not saying it's not. On Ice is pretty, to me, okay. Mass Effect was put on ice after Mass Effect 3. Then they did Andromeda, and then they put Mass Effect on ice. Okay, so it's not done. There was an update today with concept art, but yeah, I mean they have confirmed they're making another Mass Effect game, but it was on ice. The X-Men stuff for Marvel, when Marvel got rights back to the X-Men, Kevin Feige put X-Men stuff on ice because they already had the next 2 to 3 years planned out. They already had it planned out. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna put this on ice because we're not, we're already engaged. They had to do Shang-Chi and the Eternals and all that kind of stuff. So they weren't gonna bring in X-Men. So it pretends to be shocked. Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, I don't care about it. So, and people are like, well, you should. Why? It doesn't affect me. They pushed the gas angle too heavily. Should have aimed 4 to 5 gas. Well, that's what I'm saying is that if I'm, because I'm fair, I will give anybody a 1 year grace on what they're doing, so you can kind of see it kind of starting to play out a little bit. And if, again, let me make this clear, if the articles that have come out are true and that their studios had an issue with changing to, games as a service stuff, then okay, then you can honestly say, now if that is confirmed at some point, because right now it's just speculation, you can honestly say at this point, let's see, shout out to JP Loco. Make you a mod, got a trailer show. Yeah, that's no problem here, my friend. That is no problem. There you go. You are now a managing moderator. So there you go, JP Local, all the way from the land down under. So, Capono said putting Naughty Dog on the resume should help you. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not beating my chest like King Kong, people losing their job. So, however, you're a contractor and you know this is part of your shtick. I mean, that's all I can really say. It just at some point you gotta, like I put on Twitter that, you know, the Xbox fanboys really, I don't know why they can't go enjoy games. It's like, why are you all comparing Forza, which looks good? I mean, I'm not here to say it's a bad looking game. It's arguably one of Microsoft's best looking games. It always has been. However, it doesn't look as good as Gran Turismo. It doesn't. It never has. Okay, but this doesn't mean it's a terrible game. It just doesn't mean, that's all I can really say. Now I'll go over some of the stuff that happened on 60 frames no lag. But Porter Rock said to do a Bloodborne remaster. I disagree with that. I totally agree with the Midnight Club thing. I totally agree with that. No problem at all. Shout out to JP for that $2, by the way. I understand that. You know, I understand that Project Gotham race. Now, I'm much more of a Ridge Racer guy because I do think Sony should have a driving game that's much more arcade-like. So that's why I choose Ridge Racer. So I agree with bringing back.
Mind making me a mod? Got a trailer to show.
Got it done there. Got it done. Yeah, she was back there getting her cheeks busted. That took a long time. So bad time with 800 fire from Epic. Oh, okay. Well, again, they're contractors. I don't know what happened at Epic. I just know they made that demo with the flying girl and my bowels let loose after I saw that crap, after I saw that thing. So in 2016, EA and Xbox were saying single player games aren't as impactful as before. The following year, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Zero Dawn proved them wrong. I never thought that EA said that, but okay. Sony is capable of going against the odds. Well, I mean, Microsoft realizes how dumb that was. That's why they bought Bethesda, which made single player narrative driven game. That's what Bethesda does. That's why I like their studio. I mean, I've said that multiple times. I like Skyrim. I liked Oblivion, Fallout 3. Oh my goodness, one of my favorite games ever. You know, so, and again, I bought you all know what a cheapskate I am, right? Like cheap. I bought all the DLC for Fallout 3. All of it. You know, you're getting off work. That was one time I would get off work and be like, man, I can't wait to play that game on Saturday morning. And I would play Fallout all Saturday morning looking for fights because my character was so overpowered. I was like level 40, had something called a gaze gun that I got from the DLC. Because stuff from the DLC you can just keep. Like the best weapons from your DLC, you just carried over, man. I was messing those people up in that game, blowing off their legs. They were screaming on the ground, and I would sit up there and blow their heads. It was fun. Oh, if their ads are playing, then that's YouTube. I apologize for that. Ninja Theory needs to make Enslaved 2. They're doing Hellblade. Again, that's another game I'm looking forward to. And I hope it looks and plays better than Hellblade 1. But I liked Hellblade 1. So again, why wouldn't I look forward to Hellblade 2? You see what I'm saying? So but yeah, so I don't really care about The Last of Us Factions. It's just I've never cared about that type of game anyway. Now I'm perfectly honest with you all about that. I've been honest with you all about that. I don't mind playing some multiplayer games like The Division Part 2 or something like that. You know, I was going to download Foam Stars, but again, let me make this clear about Foam Stars. And again, I haven't played that game yet. That looks like a kid's game. And remember when I first saw Foam Stars, I said, that game looks interesting. However, it's not for me. And I think a lot of the issue in the PlayStation community, because I'm seeing this, is that there's a certain group of people that think everything Sony makes should cater towards them, and that's not how you build a diverse library. I mean, there's games on Plus that I'm never going to play because they don't appeal to me. It's the same with Game Pass. There's games on Game Pass I will never play. That doesn't mean they're not good games, but when I saw somebody's kid on Twitter, he recorded them playing Foam Stars for like 40 seconds. His daughter looked like she was having a blast. So, and she was only, I assume, 7 to 8 years old, and she was able to play the game. So that's who they made it for. You know, they made it for kids, and you know, and also for their kids to be able to play with their mom and their dads. Sony is kind of wanting to bring that back because Nintendo had that locked in when Nintendo first launched their console. They had Duck Hunt, and I still remember me and my mom and my brother, or me and my dad and my brother, or me and my dad, you know, or me and my mom sitting up there trying to shoot the ducks in Duck Hunt. It was fun to play. You know, it was fun to play. So, and my mom played video games. She played Pac-Man and Centipede. She liked those type of games. So, but it's okay to admit that not everything is for you because everything isn't for you. You know, and they, in this case, Sony, they need to have a portfolio that's diverse. Kind of like if you have stocks, you should have diversity. Like I have military stocks and fossil fuel stocks and medical stocks and tech stocks. I have a diverse portfolio, right? And the gaming, Sony is the same, but when you just get these people saying, well, they only want one type of game, and then they start complaining about it, F those people. You know what I'm saying? Sony makes plenty of single player narrative driven games. I mean, Spider-Man is coming out in what, 8 days, 9, what is it? Today's the 4th, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got it at 16 days. I could 15, 16 days, right? So, and on Monday, the 16th, don't the Metacritic or that stuff you all talk about, the meta scores come out. I think the Metacritic score for Forza right now is like an 84, 85, and I think it'll go to like 87 and maybe settle at an 86. I think that's really good. So it is. JP Logo says 15 days. Okay. Enslaved Odyssey to the West. I think I played that years ago. I think it sounds familiar. So is that the game where you get blown, like you get blown to another dimension or something like that? I can't. It's been a long time ago. Stray Lost. Okay, we'll have to look at that. So, oh, he said it's 15 days, but he's a day ahead. Oh, there you go. A real gamer wouldn't want to see a game fail. I don't know any games that have just come out. Maybe that Callisto Protocol. And I don't know if you all know Callisto Protocol, I think is going to be available for the October run of games. I'm going to start playing Resident Evil as soon as I finish Jedi Survivor. So, and I've been playing that a whole lot. So, Miss Hurst stocks is socks. No, well, I have diverse socks too, but again, I'm just saying as far as Sony's concerned. Yeah, but I love when Porter Rock said cut a deal with Rockstar for Midnight Club. I would cut a deal for the game Ridge Racer. That's me. Okay, I'm saying Porter Rock was wrong. I disagree with Bloodborne because all you do is hit the triangle button. But doing a Bloodborne 2 and getting a 60 I mean, I guess that's a big deal, a 60 FPS patch for that game. Okay, fine. I mean, I'm like, all right, I guess, but man, that's fine. Shout out to Porter Rock for what he would do. So I would put more into VR. I mean, my whole thing is I would strike a deal with the company that makes X-Plane, and I would strike a deal with the company that makes Star Citizen, and I would bring Star Citizen Squadron 42 and X-Plane over for VR. I would say, here we go. We got a jet sim, a space sim, and a car sim with Gran Turismo. They just cover all the bases with that. And that's just me. And guess what? They may still do that. But Jim Ryan did a good job. The House Smart, that was his idea to pull the trigger on House Smart. Blue Point, he pulled the trigger on Blue Point. Haven Studio, he pulled. All that happened while he was there. Okay, and they plan on buying more studios, including some publishers. So I think there's 2 publishers and just maybe 3 publishers they get their hands on them. They have $15 billion. And you got to remember, however, that includes all of Sony. So if Sony Music wants to go buy, I don't know, Hall & Oates' library, I mean, I'm just putting that out there, that money would come out of that 15 billion. So you replayed Bloodborne a year ago, you can see why it needs to pass. Yeah, I'm not going to deny it, but I'm surprised it's not on PC. I thought that game was on. I mean, because that's an old game. Like, yeah, that game should be on PC. So, Arc Systems is too expensive. You know, it's too expensive. So, but yeah. I mean, they still might go after them. I'm not here to say that they won't, but it's just that's just not the way they do things. So now that could change. They get a new CEO that he or she may come in there and say, open up the pockets. You know, I want to see some, you know, I want to make it rain on them. So that could be what they do. They may be more conservative. Okay, they may move the games that Sony has to PC faster. I mean, again, you just don't know. That's why I was saying this the other day. I'm like, all these people who wanted Jim Ryan out, okay, he's out, but what if the next person comes in and they piss you off even more? Because they're not gonna, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. He did a lot for, yeah, I mean, it was much more hardware. Very good point about the hardware, the headsets, yeah, those H7s, H9 headsets, whatever they are. I heard those are really good. I've been playing them. The monitors, again, I've got a 1440p monitor. I'm surprised Sony doesn't have that. It's what, 1080p and then 4K. It's like either or. What about 1440p, which is what your console is targeting? But that's just my opinion, right? That Sony, that's a solid 1080p monitor that they back. I mean, it's really good. So, the Bloodborne is 2025. Okay, yeah. Sony can get Pearl Abyss. So yeah, Shift Up, Ember Labs. I think Ember Labs would be a good buy for them, but they only make the one game, and I still think that Kana should be converted to a movie, like an animated movie. Sony's animation department has won an Oscar for the Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse stuff. So yeah, I don't know why they're taking so long to do it. But yeah, I'm not mad. I'm like, oh, they need to do this. And I ain't like those people to come on and, you know, get upset. Do I think Resident Evil 5 is next? I prefer Veronica X, but Capcom is going to, I think, remake Resident Evil 5. Which I finished. That's like when I got back into Resident Evil, I didn't play 4 at all. I've beaten 5 and 6 already. 7, I didn't play a whole lot. That was in VR. I didn't play that one a whole lot. But I liked 8. I finished 8 and I beat the DLC, and I've got 4 loaded up. Like I said, I'll be playing that that's the whole thing. I'll be playing Spider-Man the 20th and 21st, and I'm gonna have to split the 21st and get Resident Evil going. But yeah, I'm gonna go pay off my Spider-Man on get this, guys, Friday the 13th. So I'll be paying off my Spider-Man then. So Sony bought Jade, and they haven't released a game for Sony. So what's the path? With Jade Raymond, you talking about the Haven Studio? It was one, Jade Raymond wanted to work extremely close to Mark Cerny. That was Mark Cerny's idea to buy her studio. And also, Porter Rock is right when he said Sony wants the talent. Okay, Sony wants the talent, and you want Jade Raymond on your payroll. You want somebody like that working for you. That's why they bought Haven Studio. Okay, So we'll have to wait and see what they're making. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but whatever they have made and they showed to Sony, and you have to remember, Mark Cerny is working on that game. That's why we haven't heard a whole lot about from Cerny. But Jade Raymond wants her game to take full advantage of the SSD and full advantage of the RDNA 2 architecture that they have. So, and she said it. She said it. So, Resident Evil Code Veronica rumored in the works. Was Code Veronica which Resident Evil did that guy keep on saying Ada Wait? I thought her name was Ada Wait. So I don't know who this Ada Wong is. Is that the same Ada he was talking about? Chick would just take off running. Ada Wait. So I can't remember which one that was, but Code Veronica X. It's called Veronica X because it was on the Xbox, so they called it Code Veronica X. And I remember I played the hell out of that game too on the Xbox, the OG Xbox. You want to call it that? Yeah, I had that. Knights of the Old Republic, Halo. I had all those games. Jade Empire. What about Jade Raymond? I had Jade Empire. So yeah. Oh man, Firewalk. Yeah, that was interesting. The purchasing Firewalk was gonna be interesting. Again, I understand that they had their they had their main bulk studios, the Naughty Dogs, the Gorillas, the Santa Monicas, Insomniac. They've had them push them for 3 whole years. Okay, they've been pushed. They've pushed Sony 3 whole years. Spider-Man opens up Q1, quarter one for Sony. Okay, he's a starting quarterback. So Spider-Man will come out and it's going to set the pace for Sony. Or, they're going to be able to sell more consoles. I plan on trying to buy the Spider-Man console. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, but I might be able to get my hands on it. I'm going to have to, I can't even check with the boss. I'm just going to have to, because I'm getting rid of my Xbox. My Xbox is leaving my place around right when Spider-Man comes out. I'm literally going to get off work, come home, put my Xbox in it. It's already going to be packed up, okay? And I enjoyed it. It was what it was. Who knows? Maybe I end up getting a 1S because all their games are friggin' 30 frames per second anyway. So maybe I just get the 1S and I'm happy with that with a monitor. But my goal is to get the Spider-Man PlayStation. So they can, I don't know. But just remember, so now what they're doing, and hopefully you all understand this and think about this. These new studios that they've bought, they're going to along with the games they have with the multiplayer, or the third party deals, those new studios are going to have to will start bearing fruit. So I'm looking forward to Concord to see what that game is. I'm looking forward to what I'm sure you all saw. Housemarque is now moving into a state of the art studio. It's basically what my understanding of this. It is going to be their version of, they want Housemarque, and I understand what I'm about to say here, okay? I don't want to sound like I'm going on hyperbole, but what I was told was that the new studio that Housemarque is moving into is going to be like Naughty Dog studio with the motion capture and the ability to make games similar to that. All right? Now, they have their own engine, and they have access to Decima and all that kind of stuff. But let me say that again. Housemarque is being targeted as the European, the Finland version of Naughty Dog for Sony. All right, so that's what it is. But the way I look at it as a consumer is the Naughty Dogs, the Insomniacs, all those studios have carried Sony into the third year, technically going into the fourth year, because they're in a new quarter in a few more weeks, right? Well, they're in their new quarter now. I'm sorry about it. Yeah, I misspoke. Their October started their new quarter. So their new game is coming out in 15, 16 days. So I will definitely watch them, JP. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll watch them here when we get out of here. So, and I appreciate again the $2 holler from JP from the land down under. I do appreciate you, brother. What about Helldivers? Am I playing that? Yeah, I put on Twitter, is there a group that wants to get together just to let me know, because that game's not coming out till next year, right? But I will pre-order. Again, I'm going to GameStop on October the 13th of all days. Well, shout out to J-Ro. I appreciate you, brother. It's so if you all want me to pre-order that too, you got to let me know. If you're a member, that's where you have to come in and say, Pray, go ahead and pre-order the game. You don't have to. Like, let me make this clear. You just simply have to ask. You don't have to give me money to get the game. I'm a grown-ass man. I'll get the game. But you all as members have got to make that request. So will I play Helldivers? Sure. That if the members request it, I will play it. Okay, it's not that I don't have an issue with it at all. So again, that's a change, remember, I made for the podcast. I'm like, oh no, y'all want to play something online, fine. I'm the one that brought up the Division. Nobody hit me back on the Division, which is cool. People don't want to play it. That's fine. That's fine. But they're making the Division 3. I don't know where they're going to be at this time. I heard San Francisco. Then I heard Los Angeles. So it's depending on where they're going to put it. So yes, rip to the person that played Double Door. Yeah, definitely. So I think Helldivers will have crossplay. Yes. Yeah, with PC. Yeah. That's allegedly that's a Sony only game. Allegedly. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So what's up, Mary? How are you doing? So yeah, good to hear for Housemart. Yeah, Housemart, that's a successful studio, and I think this is just my opinion. Let me state that off the rip. I think Housemarque was Jim Ryan's big buy. It's just the way the things are going for them and them moving into a new studio and stuff like that. Again, and congratulations to them, because they'll have to hire more devs. And their studio allegedly is going to be state of the art. It's going to be state of the art. It's going to be, like I said, their version of Naughty Dog is going to be Housemarque overseas. So yeah, and people like, well, Jim Ryan, he doesn't, and I've said that Jim Ryan didn't get that cheek busting, rattling purchase. And I'm like, well, you know what? Now that I'm really starting to think about it as somebody who's watching this stuff, I think Housemarque was that big buy for Jim Ryan and Herman Holtz, because that studio has flourished under Sony. So, and again, Sean Layton had Insomniac. That was his big get. That was his, make it rain. I'm going to go ahead and just slap it up, flip it, and rub it down. You know what I'm saying? That's what he did. And for me personally, I'm thinking, well, maybe that's what Housemarque is, because it costs roughly the same amount of money. So, yeah. But I do think, and also as far as acquisitions are concerned, you all do know that the studio has to want to be bought, right? You just don't go in there and say, well, we're buying the studio, goodbye. The Bungie acquisition is big, but I think as far as his Insomniac type of buy, because that's what people want. Okay, I remember, look, I was at work that day when I was at work and I sat down on my computer. I'm like, man, let me go ahead and sneak a YouTube video in, And it was like, I think it was, matter of fact, of all people, it was The Crap Gamer. I typed in YouTube and it was like, and he put Sony has purchased Insomniac game. I'm like, nah, he's just making something up. And then I typed in on my phone, Google, PlayStation News. And sure enough, it was like Jeff Keighley announces major Sony acquisition of Insomniac Games, the Spider-Man maker. Now Sony owns this studio. And I was like, holy cow. And I got home that night and everybody was talking about it, and that was cool. And I did my podcast, and everybody was excited. I remember, was it a 60 frames no lag? Maybe we did that day, and I think shout out to Porter Rock. I mean, I think we had over 400 people in that chat. Wow. Any hints on who they're going to buy? Well, no, they're in early talks. So they're just in the take me out to dinner phase. So nothing major has happened yet. I think Insomniac was better buy than Bungie. Fair enough. I mean, again, I don't play Bungie's game. I don't play Destiny. So I just, like I said, when they bought it, the people who play Destiny enjoy it. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll have to wait and see if this is a good buy or not. Well, the truth of the matter is we won't know what the Bungie acquisition is until for about another 2 years. They just bought the studio. I don't think they've owned them for what, a year maybe? I mean, give them at least another year and a half to start bearing some fruit. Bungie peaked at Halo. Well, yeah, Halo. What was it? I was gonna say Halo Wars. That other Halo, Reach. I still think Halo Reach is one of the best games I've ever played. And I think that was Bungie. I think that was Bungie. So JP logo, how smart upgrading? Yes. Allegedly a state of the art. It's allegedly a state of the art studio. So allegedly. So I have to wait and see. So I'm sure they'll have people. I'm sure they'll do their tour. And remember, it's good. I just like to see the success, and I like to see success rewarded. What I do not like is for people to say that Sony is struggling and A, B, C, and D is happening, but then try to brag about Sony putting in this studio. To me, it's like, why are you? It's either they're struggling or they're not. And companies that expand are not struggling. So shout out to Sony for PlayStation Portal. Remember all the people saying, this is stupid, this is dumb, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. I've said before, that's not for me. But I could see it being a cloud-based streaming device in the future. Maybe they make something else, however, that allows that. Because there are people like, well, it has to be tethered. Okay. Right now it has to be tethered. We do know that Sony is working on their own cloud-based stuff, right? I mean, guys, come on. It's not that difficult. So, but maybe I see it because I'm not all emotional about it and stuff like that. So you dangle Bungie in front of Microsoft and be like, nah, there's a lot of bad feelings there between Microsoft and Bungie. So early talk with who? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say with who. It's just there's one in Europe, one in Japan, and one in the United States. So they're talking to all of them. If they get all of them, it's going to be about, I don't know, about $8 to $9.4 billion. That's if they get all of them. So, which I think they get 2 out of 3. But they're significant studios if they're, and one could just be, it could be 2 acquisitions and then 1 capital investment, or it could be 2 capital investments in 1 studio, or none. I mean, so it's just too early to kind of say. Remember, they're in Q1. So you're going to do what during Q1? Most businesses talk about acquisitions and mergers the first business quarter, which is what they're in right now. I mean, guys, come on. This is not rocket science. It's not hard. So you should be able to say, well, they're going to talk about that during the first quarter of their business cycle because they're setting aside how much money they're going to be spending anyway. So it's like, well, how much money do we want to give to games and services, which Sony refers to as PlayStation? How much money do we want to give to them for acquisitions? If they have 13 billion, which is roughly what they have, do they want to give Sony 9 billion of that? What about Sony Music? How much are they projected to want? What about Sony movie studios, and then Sony Electronics with the phones and stuff like that? They each are going to get some of that money. Now, if Hitoki Kuroki, hopefully I'm saying that man's name right, Hitoki Hiroki, if he, or Toroki, I'm sorry, if he set aside 8 billion only for GNS? You know, we don't know that. So we should get more answers before the cold months, or before it gets super cold, but just understand the business quarters that they're in, what they do at the beginning of all business quarters, which is set budgets, and then they go from there. That's the way it works. So how do I know this? Because I understand, because one, the business cycle. Number two, it's not hard to see who they're talking to. You just have to know how to find that type of information. That's how I knew about the Bungie deal. Okay, we were on 60 frames no lag for 2 straight weeks, 2 back-to-back Tuesdays, and they were talking about acquisitions. I'm like, all right, well, they were talking, what about this? Well, I said, what about Bungie? And they were like, yeah, well, I guess that's possible too. And we come back the next week, yeah, what about Bungie? And then the following week, they have Bungie, you know. So it's like, yeah, I know. So yeah. You love those guys since the day of the Spiral. Well, again, I just think that a lot of the fanboys, they want that type of buy. And I'm saying, in my opinion, and again, my opinion, that Housemarque or Jim Ryan was that buy. Okay? Because that studio has flourished. That studio is getting bigger. They're getting better state-of-the-art equipment. I don't know what that means, upgrading the studio. I was told their studio is going to be Naughty Dog of Finland or Naughty Dog of Europe. So they are talking to another European studio. However, I'll just simply say it's in the same area. That's it. Now there's several there, but if they buy this, it will be good for Sony. Okay. That's if they get them. So, They invested in the cloud. Yeah, I know. I mean, you do not, like, you don't, I understand you don't want to put too much into the cloud, but you want to put enough in there where if it takes off, that you don't get left behind. That's the kind of like, what's the next big thing? You may hear people talking about that all the time. What's the next big thing? And it could be cloud-based stuff, and it might not be, but you want enough flour in that bread so that if it does take off, that you get some windfall. It's not bad. Even if Factions 2 canceled, they have 2 other games in the works. Last of Us 3, a new AAA IP. All right, well, yeah, like I said, I think it's exactly what they said, which is it's on ice until they can, because I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know what they can add to it because I haven't played it. But on ice just means that they will come back to it later on. And what I use as an example is Mass Effect, because Mass Effect went on ice for 5 years, and they did Andromeda, and now it's been on ice since 2017, and now they're just now thawing the ice. Okay, they're starting to take a pick to it and put some heat on it. They'll let it melt around. We're getting some images. We hopefully in 7 day, people got into November. In 7 day is about a month away. So are we going to get some more information? That's what we're all waiting on, right? I still want them to do a patch for the Xbox and for PlayStation for Andromeda to be 60 frames per second on the PS5 and the series consoles. I don't know what they're waiting on. You know, it would be nice. Fingers crossed that's what we get this year. So, but yeah, on ice after 4 years doesn't sound good. Well, again, like I said, Mass Effect was on ice for 5 years. Okay, Mass Effect Andromeda came out in 2017. Mass Effect 3 was 2012, either 2011 or 2012. So yes, things can go on ice for a while. They'll just come back and revisit them. So people are acting like it's the end of the world. Yeah, well, those people are fans. Have to remember, those people are fans of that game. That's why I said I had a little chub, a little bit of a little poke in the pants when I heard that corny MFer, but saying he was mad about this. He's disappointed. I'm like, I'm not disappointed because I'm sick and tired of people talking about it. So good. I'm tired of the speculation. I'm tired, and this is just one more door closed on speculation. Easy to speculate it, but it's kind of, oh no, wait a minute, we're gonna put this on ice, or we're gonna come back to this, visit this later on. Like now, we never have to hear about it again. You never have to hear about it again. I mean, you only think about it when you got an ice cold beer or an ice cold cola in your hands, and you're the Dr. Pepper, whatever you're drinking. So, so, and again, this is why you'll never hear me podcasting, screaming about what Sony is doing, because again, it's already planned years out. It's not like they walked into work on Monday and said, well, what are we going to do for the year? They started charting their course, probably most companies 3 years in advance. I mean, that's minimal. Like 3 years in advance. If you don't believe me, go talk to your board of directors or CEOs of wherever you're working at. Then just ask them, yeah, how long do you all plan ahead on the direction of, where this business goes? Usually it's 3 years. I mean, that's usually, they have to know in 3 years what's going to happen minimum. So this is why you don't talk about games too soon in development. Well, yeah, and remember, you're right, D-Nice, and let me make this clear. This is why, and also let me add to that, actually, this is why you don't show a bunch of games that are in early development. One, I mean, they attacked Spider-Man, remember that? When they showed the Spider-Man, I don't know if it was in the spring or something like that, the summer, they showed that it was like a late alpha, early beta. And people like Marlin Gaming Nation came out the next day talking about, it don't look good. It don't look good. So, I mean, that's the issue. It's like, okay, you all want updates. You all want a little inside information. When they finally give it to you, you attack them. You attack them. That's piss poor on you all. I remember getting betas and getting demos and stuff like that. I remember getting the demo to Saints Row, the original Saints Row. And I remember the review of the demo. It said a bigger, better looking Grand Theft Auto, which that's exactly what it was. And people got mad at that. I'm like, well, it does look better than Grand Theft Auto. And it was a bigger game. Oh yeah, this city is bigger. And and this was, I think, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which there was more to do in San Andreas. A lot of people didn't do it. Like, if you played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, did you know you could go get your boating license? You could get a high-end driver's license. Of course, you had to get the plane license. But I remember I was at home one Friday trying to get the flying license in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It took me like 3 hours. I mean, I had to put in some time. But overall, this is why they do not show you a bunch of stuff or tell you a bunch of stuff, because things in the early development can change. That's why, I mean, even though they put up early build, early build subject to change, that doesn't matter. When they showed the Spider-Man alpha footage or whatever it was, they literally said, this is early footage, subject to change for final build. Even though that was up on the screen, you had, like I said, people like Marlin Gaming Nation, because the Xbox community was saying the game looked bad, and they're ones to talk with some of the most. I mean, that Redfall game, that game looked so bad, my turd turned sideways and tried to go back inside my butt. But at the end of the day, you got people like that are toxic. Let me make that clear. Guys like that are toxic for the gaming community, because they come out, they lick their finger, they put it up in the air, and if it's, everybody's bashing this, guys like that make content specifically for that. And yeah, it's to me, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Other people noticed it too, and they pointed it out to me. I'm like, nah, he ain't really like that. He was worse. So, Days Gone 2 does need to happen, but doesn't that game have a beginning, middle, and end? It has an ending, right? it does end. You know, it's not. I mean, you were going to say the guy that was on a helicopter or something like that. Is that what you're going to say now? But okay, but how can you make a sequel to that? It's tough keeping up with Sony and their announcements. You should sign up for Sony News. You can sign up for that. It's free. And anytime there's an announcement with Sony, you'll get an email. You'll get like an early email. That we will announce this tomorrow, you know, something like that. The original factions is still around. Okay, cool. Since Jim is leaving, wonder if the 2 single-player games a year still stay or be thrown out. Well, one of the single-player games is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I'm sure Sony will put another game out in 2024. Isn't Rise of Ronin coming? See what I'm saying? I mean, that game was a Stellar Blade is coming. Or it's supposed to come out, I should say. So I'm just saying, I mean, it's to me, it's always been there, but people, because they want to come on daily and do podcasts, because those podcasts are helping keep the lights on, helping keep the water on, helping keeping the car payment up to date, helping keeping the mortgage done. They have to find stuff that's marginal to rage about and make money off of it. And it's happening all over the internet. It's not just in gaming. It's all over the internet. Okay, so it's I can't. It's you know it is what it is. It's a and people say, well, guys, people like that are necessary evil. I'm like, no, there's no such thing as a necessary evil. You just have a bunch of toxic people out there. So and it is what it is. You know that's why I've muted and I haven't really blocked people. I have muted them now. At a cliffhanger ending. You really call that a cliffhanger? Okay. All right. I mean, no, I mean, I'm not. All right, that's fine. I'm not going to say it's not. Get the likes up, though. So, Days Gone, improve your craft first, then return to Days Gone 2 with more experience. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's not a bad idea. So, remember Uncharted 3 to Uncharted. Hold on, to The Last of Us to Uncharted 4. Yeah. Yeah. And how long was it between Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4? Because Uncharted 3 was a PS3 game, right? And then Uncharted 4, I know, came out in 2016. So how long? How long? Just saying, how long? You know, in between games that was. The GTA 6 got attacked and people assumed it was the final build. What about, well, GTA 6 is not out yet. So I remember GTA 4, the beta coming out. The GTA 4 beta, I mean, that's a long time ago, but people were like, well, he didn't even change his clothes. I'm like, well, it's a beta. He's not, they're just showing you what the build is, what the character is going to kind of look like and the way they're going to move around. It's a beta. Quantum Air November. Yeah, let's go over the list of games. So, like I said, Assassin's Creed's coming out this month. Spider-Man's coming out this month. There's a whole lot coming out. You know, I can't remember. It's Forza either this month or in November. I can't remember. Alan Wake is coming. There's just a ton of stuff coming. And we got Black Friday right around the corner. So, you know, where I'm going to get my new bed. So I've already picked it out. So people want PlayStation to trip up so bad. They're fine. Thoughts on Portal being sold out? I told you all. I'm like, it's not just because something's not for you or me. It doesn't mean that other people are not going to be interested in it. We only speak for ourselves. Okay, we don't speak for nobody else. Okay, so you know it is what it is. You know, like I said, you know, for me, factions being on ice, I don't give a rat's ass about because I wasn't going to play it anyway. However, I totally understand if somebody is mad because they thought that game was coming out in a few more months. I can do that. The internet drama plus internet money. Yeah, Assassin's Creed is coming out Friday. I'm not buying it. Yeah, that game's gonna be. I got so much here. Like I was showing you guys, I still got Dead Space, GT7. What else was over there? I just opened up Resident Evil 4. So yeah, I mean, just good grief. Dead Space is over there. Assassin's Creed gonna have to wait. I got to get rid of some. I mean, the Star Wars game came out what in June? Was it June it came out? They just patched it, so I'm really enjoying it. I am enjoying the game. Okay, I'm liking it. So but it's a much bigger game. You can recruit people to go back to some world. I made a garden. I put some weed in there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's pretty cool. So The Last of Us released just before the PS4 in 2013. Oh, okay, but I think I was asking about Uncharted 3. Who from Sony said that Factions is on ice? Well, like that's I said, allegedly if the articles are true, the game is put on ice. So Forza is this month. Okay. I was wondering why it was already like the Metacritic was coming out. When does it come out? This gen so far, they redid Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, and Last of Us 1 and 2 games in 3 years. And I bet, well, yeah, and I still think The Last of Us Part 2 is being remastered. I do believe that's happening. I think that will be Naughty Dog's next game. How many of you all plan on buying Forbidden West, the collector's edition, or whatever they're calling it? It's got a bunch of stuff with it for like, is it $49.99? That's coming out in a couple weeks as well. There's a whole lot's coming. You got VR stuff coming as well. So, but guys, I'm gonna jump on off here. Like I said, it's 9:15. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Geritol, then I'm gonna go to bed. So, Assassin's Creed is tomorrow. I thought it was Friday. All right, cool. Well, I'll definitely be looking at the playthroughs. I did watch a little bit of the launch of that game. I watched it for like 30 minutes. It looks fine to me. Like I'll enjoy it. It's just gonna be, like I said, Assassin's Creed and Alan Wake, and then I'll throw another game in there. That'll be, Black Friday that you do 2 for $3, or it's like you buy 2 games at full price, you get the third game at something. So Baldur's Gate is here. I mean, there's just so much to play. So, but all right then, I am going to bounce on out of here, and I will talk to you all later. Deuces.